Welcome one and all to Umami Manga. I'm Petter, and this is James.
Hello, everyone.
And today we're talking about volume 28 of the Kaguya-sama Love is War manga. It's the final volume of this whole entire series, and I'm stoked and, I don't know, feeling a little weird, but also excited.
Yeah, I mean it's finally here.
Yeah.
Since we follow the English volume releases, we've been waiting for a good amount of time to get this ending compared to most everyone else on the internet who are big Kaguya fans
Yes.
who followed along with the initial releases online, but we're here and honestly, as much as the slow release was painful at times, I wouldn't trade the experience for anything. I'm so happy to be here at the end, and I feel like it culminates into a very lovely story.
Oh yes. Oh yes, I agree. Yeah, even though we are like a little over a year late, I guess technically, but uh still having covered this manga for as long as we have now through the podcast has been a treat, and like doing it the way we've been doing it, we turned it into a book club between the two of us in a way, and we're sharing it with the world for whoever wants to listen. And and this was how this podcast started, and this is, well, this part of the podcast is ending now, but we're continuing with other stuff. But it is a little bit sad in a way to be finished with Kaguya Sama discussions. Although we do have this whole entire discussion ahead of us, so we're not done quite yet.
Yeah, let's not get ahead of us.
No, for sure not. Um, the volume basically gives us the final chapters for each of the most prominent characters one by one. They got neat little send-offs: Kei, Maki, Nagisa, Tsubasa, Kobachi, Ai, Miko, Yu, Chika, and Miyuki and Kaguya, obviously. And this is where we say goodbye to Shuchin Academy.
Yeah.
So I guess without further ado, let's dig into the characters here. Starting with Kaguya Shinomiya. She's actively pursuing photography now, so that's great for her.
Mm-hmm.
And I think props for her for not being discouraged when it's challenging and difficult for her, because obviously she's not all that used to, I guess, that experience of struggling with something.
Yeah.
So I think it's respectable that she's keeping it up in spite of that.
Miyuki himself says that she's not very good at it right now,
Mhm.
but you know, her determination to do something that she's not good at, to do something that's not really expected of her,
Uh-huh.
is is charming, and
Very. Hmm.
I think that's a a good quality of hers that maybe we didn't get to see until the very end here, but I do like it.
Yeah, I definitely do too. And I actually, at this point, I don't really mind that it was kind of that it kind of came in sort of suddenly near the end of the story. I feel like I guess like I made it work.
I have accepted
Good.
it.
I'm glad. We also found out that Kaguya also took that same academic test that Miyuki had done, the one that he did to kind of beat Mikado. And Kaguya actually did better than Miyuki this time around, which, if I'm not mistaken, is a first, because I believe she's always been just below Miyuki in all these types of tests, like academic tests. So it seems like, in addition to putting effort into her photography, she's now also putting effort into studying, which I don't think she necessarily ever did before, because she was always relying on just her natural talent for everything, and she did great with just that, but not better than Miyuki. But now that she's supposedly, potentially, actually studying, now she can actually beat Miyuki. At least that's how I'm interpreting that.
Yeah. Few things about that. I wasn't sure how to interpret that panel, to be honest.
Mm.
I I thought it could be that I did better than you, but how could she have seen his scores from there? I don't understand
I,
that.
I kind of tried to view it as like maybe this was like uploaded to a site somehow that one could access and see the results on. Maybe.
I guess my other thought was maybe this is hinting at what happens in the next chapter where she gets the one up on him, the surprise, because he's trying to surprise her, but
Right.
she's really gonna surprise him.
Fair.
But then again, in the context of what obviously Miyuki and Mikado are talking about, it would make sense if she's saying, "I did better than you, not good enough." I don't know. It didn't to me. It didn't feel as clear as it could have been.
That is a fair point. I didn't see it that way, but I do now. Yeah.
But to your point about not ever passing him, doesn't she get a higher score at one point, but she's not excited about it because Miyuki kind of stopped caring?
Oh, that's right. I believe that did happen sort of somewhat recently after Miyuki.
Yeah.
I guess he was focused on other things, so we had to kind of sacrifice some study time. I believe you're right about that, actually.
Like he went down to 6th place or something like that.
Right, like he was still
but...
really good, but not the top student anymore. Yeah, that I believe that's true. Yeah. Thanks for correcting me on that. So yeah, maybe in that case, this is only in regards to her scheming, and not in regards to the tests in that case. But who knows?
Who knows? Whatever. Either way, she one-upped him, whether it be at the exam or in their constant battle of love. Who cares?
Exactly. Right. And also, regardless, I do still think that now that she's actually and very she's very eager to get into Stanford to study with Miyuki, which she did manage to do, but before she got accepted into it, I wouldn't be surprised if she actually did study harder than she had before, in order to get just the best possible grades.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's probably the case as well.
And with that context, it would make sense if that truly meant that she had been studying so hard that she just naturally got better than him in the test scores.
Right.
I just wish it was clear.
Yeah. Now I do too.
Anyway, yeah, great moment among so many cute moments between them. Yeah, fantastic.
Absolutely.
I do like how Kaguya kind of got the last laugh on Miyuki, or the final one up with the graduation ceremony.
Absolutely.
Yeah, another very sweet moment.
It was so good too because it was like that chapter, or I guess those 2 chapters, they did turn into, in a way, a traditional love is war battle between Miyuki and Kaguya. At the end of it, Kaguya was victorious, and it was her plan and whatnot that went through, and she was able to surprise Miyuki, but she made him incredibly happy because of it. Like, so even though she won and Miyuki, I guess, quote unquote, lost, Miyuki still had a good thing for him, there.
Right. Yeah.
So it was really beautiful in that way.
And I like how she says, "I win today's battle." It wasn't the narrator who said that. It was Kage who said, "I win today's battle."
Yeah.
As if they had been really keeping track this whole time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of like that somewhat meta statement.
I also love how she got one final "how cute" in.
I know. So good. So nostalgic.
Yeah.
But it's like better than Miyuki ever imagined. It was horrified to him before, but this is like, the good outcome.
Precisely. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. And now starts the new battle between Kaguya and Miyuki to make the other propose.
Place your bets now, folks.
Yeah. I wonder if we'll ever know.
There's no way they're gonna wait until they're 40 or 50 that Miyuki keeps upping the number. Like,
yeah, no, exactly.
No freaking way.
No.
As much as I would like to see Kaguya propose, I don't know. I think it would be nice for Miyuki to do it,
Hmm?
not be so caught up in gotta be perfect, gotta have all this, money saved up until we do it. Just kind of go for it and sweep her
Hmm.
off her feet as he's done multiple times before, but just in being normal, not having to be perfect.
Exactly. Yeah, while he has come a long way, he definitely is still a bit stuck in those types of mindsets.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. But uh, yeah, no, actually, I think I agree with you this time that it would probably be nice to see Miyuki do that.
Mm-hmm.
We were usually on different sides of the rooting for Kaguya or Miyuki thing before,
It's true.
but I think I actually agree with you on this one.
Yeah.
Hmm. But yeah, in the end, Kaguya became an ordinary girl, but with the experiences of her previous extraordinary life.
Yeah.
I guess that's sort of what the story at the core, I guess, at least one of the cores of the story,
Mm-hmm.
I think. And I think Kaguya Shinomiya's portrayal and her character journey throughout the whole manga is seriously one of the best that I have ever had the pleasure of witnessing in any kind of fiction. I don't think I could have been more content with her as a fictional character.
Yeah, I love her journey. And how the story starts with this silly premise of two geniuses trying to get each other to confess, to where it is now, where it's really about their youth and finding more about themselves and who they want to be, who they are, and yeah, becoming in Kaguya's case a normal girl.
Right. It's great. Then, next, let's talk about Miyuki Shirogane. He returned to Japan to surprise Kaguya on her commencement. Didn't go as he had planned, but it's still it was still good for him in the end.
Hey, Kaguya played her part well, pretending to be surprised. Oh, you're here! Whoa, so happy.
Absolutely. Yeah. She
And I
really
think,
did.
yeah, I think it made it all worthwhile. Well, obviously it did because in the end she reverse Uno card her, or him, with the celebration graduation celebration. The entire student body, or
Hmm.
at least their class, celebrating Miyuki. And I'll admit that got me a little bit emotional
Oh yeah.
to see not only everyone supporting him, but also Miyuki getting a little choked up. Got me teary eyed a little bit. You
Right,
know?
same. Yeah. Because it was just like definitely surprising but also overwhelming, I think, to him. Like
Yeah,
not only had he not expected that, but it was just like so much and uh and it was beautiful.
I agree.
And he even got a diploma from the principal. I love that. But Miyuki, during his time in America and at the school there, he came to understand that even someone who is called a genius is not a perfect person. That everyone, even those who may seem perfect, have their weaknesses, and that there's nothing wrong with revealing or even embracing those weaknesses. In fact, like the genius Kaguya Shinomiya chose to pursue a path that she has no natural affinity for, and that is one of the things that Miyuki loves about her. And like that entire speech, I guess you could call it, from Miyuki was really insightful and beautifully put, I think.
Absolutely. Great advice.
Yeah. And it really also shows his own growth and like how he
Yeah.
has mellowed out a bit. Um, not completely, because even though he did seem very cool when Mikado initially challenged him, it turned out Miyuki had still, he was still determined to be viewed as a genius, as the genius of the century, even.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, look, it's a comedy. He had to throw that in there.
yeah.
If this wasn't, a comedy anymore, then yeah, it would have ended there.
Mm.
Just satisfying us with that philosophical answer, very thought provoking answer. But nah, he had to throw in that gag, one little gag one more time, which is fine.
Yeah, but I actually I think it still works. Like both as a gag, but also kind of with the characters and whatnot, because I feel like he has. It's still clear that he still has gotten over this urge to always be the best. Like I think that's been enough established anyway, and I think like this one thing with Mikado was probably just some. Well, I think Miyuki just kind of found it kind of funny, like just kind of for old time's sake, since they have that history together, he and Mikado.
Uh, mm, yeah, yeah.
Mm?
I mean, I don't think he saw it as a joke per se. I think he kind of took
No,
it
no,
seriously.
I didn't mean. Sorry, maybe I was unclear. I didn't mean as he was
But for old
doing it
time's
as a joke,
sake, yeah,
but like for
I
authentic,
could.
and for him because he it was something that he might find enjoyable in a way, like fun for him to just do this for fun, kind of
Yeah,
in that kind of a way.
sure.
But yeah, now all that remains is for Miyuki to achieve world peace.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, seriously, good luck with that.
I mean, he originally wanted to shoot for the stars, and he's still doing that technically.
Right, that's true. Yeah. Then next, let's talk about Miko Ino. She ran for student council president and won, and it was a big victory
Woohoo!
even. So,
Yeah,
yay!
tough competition. Let me tell you. Woo!
Oh yes. And I thought it was very beautiful that her stage fright is now all gone. Like she has
Yeah,
been able to let go of that pretty much completely. Very nice.
yeah. I mean, I don't think anybody who has been reading volume by volume or chapter by chapter can deny anymore, if ever, that she hasn't been improving, hasn't been growing,
Mm-hmm.
and changing as a person. I mean, that speech by Kobachi really kind of sets it out
Yeah.
for everyone to see that Miko is not the same girl that she used to be
Mm-hmm.
and is maturing every day as a person. I mean, but if you've been reading these volumes, you should already know this.
Right. Yeah. Like the story does a good enough job at showing it, but I also think it means a lot hearing it from Kobachi because she is a masterful observer. uh,
Yeah,
in addition to being Miko's oldest friend, so yeah, it holds a lot of weight.
yeah, and it's also very satisfying to see Miko reach her goal of becoming the student president. So good for her.
Exactly. Like that was her goal, like her first goal that was established in the story for her when she was
Yeah.
introduced, and now she reached it. I'm also relieved to see that she actually was still going for that because there was one part in one of the sort of ish recent volumes where we had some slight reason to think that maybe she was kind of letting go of that dream, if you recall,
Yeah, I think I vaguely remember that.
when she had you at her home, and she was just
That's right.
kind of just blabbering on, but we didn't hear all of it because we were in Yu's head and we were kind of occupied with his thoughts instead. But there was a part there that sort of seemed like it may have been her saying that she wasn't that into that anymore, but yeah, I guess that
Hmm.
wasn't the case. But she struggled a bit with recruiting student council members,
Yeah.
and she had naturally expected you to definitely be on the council with her, but that possibility wasn't, I guess, as certain as she had thought, at least not right away. And for a while, she was torn about asking him to join because, well, I think for two reasons. One being that she didn't want to interfere with what he wants,
Hmm.
and the other being that, well, she didn't want to come off as if though she likes him. But yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So like there were two reasons for her hesitance there, I guess.
Yeah.
But ultimately, she did express to you that she needs him and that she wants him to be the student council vice president.
I need you
Yeah.
to be my student council vice president.
Precisely. So well done, Miko. That I think that was a pretty
Yeah.
big move, big step.
And
Uh,
yet nothing happens.
for 6 months. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah. um it is kind of funny that it comes full circle in a way.
For sure.
Maybe it would have been nice to see the pupils surpass the masters and not have to deal with this step. But I guess it leads to the title and original theme of the story.
Yeah.
Or it lends to that. And so yeah, I'm totally okay with what happens.
Right. I honestly I thought it was both infuriating and hilarious at the same time, kind of.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and I mean, we because I believe we did kind of touch on that last time when we talked about the previous volume. Was the idea of this kind of cycle of Love is War,
Mm-hmm.
which seems to be what Akasaka is going for here.
Yeah.
But either way, Miko did eventually manage to recruit the rest of the student council members, as we have Secretary Mitama Touno, Financial Auditor Kogane Kanegae, Treasurer Taikoku Takano, and of course, General Affairs Gomanosuke. Very important. I love how that he actually stayed that way. uh,
I kind of wish the cat had more to do.
yeah, it seemed when it was introduced like it would play a bigger role, but
Yeah,
guess not. Guess not.
that's fine. I appreciate the general affairs gag.
Right,
It
yeah.
is a good one.
It's good.
It's good.
Hmm. But on Miko's bio page in this book, it says that she connected with in various ways with several of her fellow students, which has helped her better understand them as well as herself. And I thought that was a pretty beautiful little description and it said that she's been influenced by Kaguya's dirty tactics, by Miyuki's uprightness, by Chika's humanity, by Tsubame's warmth, by her quarrels with Kobachi, and by witnessing Yu's growth. And I don't know, just seeing it written out like that, it was for one beautiful and also kind of well, it got me thinking about Miko as a character and I guess yeah I guess she really did learn from a lot of different directions. Kind of,
Mm-hmm.
it's almost like she's the story's secret heroine or something. I don't
Wow.
know. In my head, she is
You're
anyway.
putting it out there. Bold move. Bold move. Touche. Just wait till we get the Chica section. Oh, I'm gonna blow your mind. I am not. I am not going.
uh, well, is there anything else on Miko here?
No.
Then let's talk next about Yu Ishigami. In August, he was still working on getting over Tsubame, but he had made good progress. And I guess by the time the book ends, I think he's even farther along in getting over her, possibly even completely.
Yeah.
But it makes sense. I can buy that it takes a while.
Yeah. I don't blame him for stepping down from the student council.
No.
I think the reasons he gives are pretty good, and honestly, he's never had the student council aspirations to begin with. So,
Mm-hmm.
There's maybe not a huge reason to say, but it would have been nice for him to talk with Miko about it, especially since he knew she was going to be the next class president, so that you don't have this awkward, oh, she has to beg me to come back. Not saying that's what he's looking for per se.
Right.
And I didn't expect him to say, I could stay on if you want me to. I wasn't looking for that, but I think open communication would have been nice. But as we've learned in this story, open communication doesn't come very often in this story until much closed battles within their minds. But I love how they do end up working together still, and he comes on as vice president. That was good, and
very.
I'm glad he said yes. I think if she had asked him for the very beginning, he would have said yes.
Right. I honestly think so as well. But yeah, communication is hard for teenagers.
Yeah.
It was very wholesome to see you helping that scholarship student find his shoes.
Yeah. He passes on that kindness that was shown to him. Yeah, that's so great.
I love that so much. Yeah, and recalling not just Miyuki, but Tsubame and Kazuno as well.
I just the world is full of good people. I know because good people saved me.
Mm,
Love it.
it's beautiful. So beautiful.
Yeah.
This is such a feel-good manga. Like it's the best. It's the best, man. I'm so happy. I'm so happy whenever I read this, whenever I talk about this. It's so good.
Yeah, I mean, you just think about where Ishigami was in his life.
Mm.
He was in a very dark place, a very dark situation, and to see him not only overcome that, but improve himself, like reach new heights. It's encouraging. It's fantastic, and
Mm.
yeah, I love Ishigami's story.
Oh yes. Oh yes. It's great. And we see how he's really putting his all into the student council once he does join Miko on it. And in addition to taking care of all of those student council duties, he's also now ranked 8th in his grade, which is incredible for him, I think, considering he was ranked 177th at the start of the manga. So that's an amazing leap.
Yeah,
We also got to see how Miko put him to work so much in the student council that they didn't have time to hang out much or chat much, but that Miko was doing it because she wanted to stick, like she wanted him to stick around so that they could, I guess, spend more time together. But I think even if she hadn't done all that, you still would have had the desire to, well, hang out and chat.
maybe a little bit, but he definitely wanted to go home to play video games.
He did. He
Let's
did.
not gloss over that fact.
That's definitely true.
Yeah, but also he wanted to get closer to Miko as well. He was hoping something would happen.
Yeah.
But I guess without really doing anything himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny just by giving him more work so that they can hang out and chat. He can't hang out and chat because he has too much work.
Yeah.
It's
Uh,
vicious cycle.
it is. It is. Yeah, this is why communication is important.
They'll learn in time.
They will.
Maybe.
They will.
I don't know.
They will. As Kaguya and Miyuki did. They will.
Well, let's wait till we get to and then we could talk about that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. But there definitely is this cycle. That's what we were talking about. Another cycle is beginning, and they even referenced like the very first chapter of the manga with the movie ticket battle.
Yeah.
I love how, cause since that is literally chapter 1 of Kaguya-sama Love is War, and I was very happy to see that called back to, especially considering, and I may have mentioned this on the podcast before.
We know,
especially considering the anime left it out of the adaptation. But Akasaka didn't forget about it. In Akasaka, we trust.
Akasaka didn't forget.
Well.
No, it was a great callback. It's like, ooh,
right. I loved it. But is that all on you?
Yeah.
Then let's talk about Chika Fujiwara. She appeared to have some romantic feelings there, like a normal person.
Yeah.
At least for a while.
Yeah, Chica's just playing these upper echelon mind games with people, man. Was she actually interested in the guy? Was she just trying to get Kaguya to confess her feelings to Chika? What was her end game there? I don't know. She literally typed it out. Apparently, typed out she was gonna agree to go with him.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that was her calling Kaguya's bluff. Maybe I don't know. But yeah, no. So this piano prodigy who's living in Vienna asks Chika out and wants her to come to Vienna with her, so he can court her.
Yeah.
Different world, man. Different world.
For sure.
And she was kind of considering it. Supposedly.
Right, supposedly. It's so hard to tell with Chika.
Yeah. She is this enigma. But in the end, I think this chapter was just nice to get that final confession from Kaguya that she cares deeply for Chika,
Yeah.
just as much maybe as Chika cares for her.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think so.
And it was kind of like her getting back at Kaguya for basically the whole Miyuki confession and how Chika wasn't willing to give Kaguya away in that same way. So again, it was sweet to see the feelings were mutual.
Yeah. I love that. I love their friendship. Another thing, or perhaps in my opinion, the most juicy thing in this chapter was the name of the guy.
Oh, really?
Yes. Because, well, remember back in our volume 23 discussion, when we talked about the chapter that was named after Kaguya's impossible demand of the jeweled branch,
Uh-huh.
which was like the fifth one that we didn't have a girl for, and it was a Chica centric chapter, so
Oh
it
my gosh, you're right.
so it kind of seemed like Chica was this fifth girl, but it wasn't super clear, and we didn't have any names indicating anything necessarily, as we did with all the others and
Uh-huh.
whatnot. And I said back then that I wanted something more to prove it for me.
Yeah.
And well, here we have it, or sort of, I guess, in a way. The guy that Chika was sort of interested here is named Tamaki Horai, and Horai is the name of this mythical island where the jeweled branch could be found, according to the tale of the bamboo cutter. And yeah, sure, it's not looking like Chika and Tamaki Horai will end up together, but still, having that name even in some way connected to Chika's character, like in the narrative here, is more than enough for me. So I
Mm-hmm.
think I think I'm definitely on board now with the idea that Chika is the fifth impossible girl.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Too bad I didn't pick up on that whole right. Dang it.
Ah.
But abs- absolutely right. That's
Hmm.
great observation, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, it feels like that idea of the impossible girls was one that I think Akasaka wanted to hit on at a certain point, but then as the story and characters progressed, he's like, maybe it's not that big of a deal, or we're gonna go in a different direction.
Right. He's also, I think, made claims at some points that the characters kind of controlled the story more than he was able to do in a way. Like he was
Yeah,
kind of
he's
letting the
very much of
characters
that
lead the
mindset.
story,
Uh huh.
and it kind of became something that he hadn't necessarily planned for it to become. And I guess yeah, it's straight away from some focus like that, but I don't mind it really. I just think
No, no,
it's neat to have the little slight references to the tale of the bamboo cutter, but it doesn't have to follow that story particularly.
no,
It never really did, but yeah.
no. I never wanted it to follow it to a T at all.
No.
Um, I guess with the Impossible Girls, I just kind of wanted to see unique takes on that
Hmm.
more so than we got.
Yeah.
But not to say I'm disappointed in those directions the story went. Not at all. It's just that there was that potential for there to be that comparison or that take, but we just never went in that direction.
Yeah, like not completely. Like I like, obviously, Tsubame was done really well.
Yeah,
Kobachi was done really well. Chika, I think you could argue, was done really well in
she is.
in
Yeah,
her own
she's
way.
the definition of an impossible popular girl.
Right, right. It's just Momo and Koromo that were a little bit
Exactly.
not as impactful as they could have been, perhaps. But oh well,
Yeah,
it's all
it's
good.
okay. It's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah, being the Chica stan that I am, I'm happy with this because Chica has been for a long time this, as we said, enigma
Hmm.
of a character, kind of this impossible to understand but impossible to hate. Well, people do hate her, but I don't know. To me, it was impossible to hate her,
Yeah.
despite all her flaws. And I'm not sure when he started referring to her as the quintessential popular girl. Maybe around the halfway mark, maybe he kind of started going that direction.
Hmm.
But I think whatever that's supposed to mean, I think that describes her well.
Yeah.
And I'm sure she'll marry a sumo wrestler one day.
Precisely. Yeah, right. She says she didn't take this Horai guy, but yeah, a slow developing romantic relationship with a sumo wrestler. That's what she wants.
Hey man, they make a lot of money if you marry the right one.
Yeah. Oh boy. And she will be the prime minister too. So the prime minister married to a sumo wrestler. What a team.
Absolutely. I still feel we didn't get enough reason for why Miko idolized Chika. You know,
Mm.
we got the piano and how she's piano prodigy. Miko never really aspired to be a pianist, as far as we understand. So I don't understand why she would idolize her so much, especially since she's not spending as much time with Chika as say, maybe I won't say names, but another two characters who one girl idolizes the other very much because they spend so much time with each other.
Right. That's fair. I think my best way to justify it perhaps is that back when Chika made her first impression on Miko, she was still playing the piano actively, supposedly, and
Yeah.
Miko saw her perform. And I guess the elegance or how should you say it, like the properness of a girl sitting in front of a piano playing very well might have been appealing to Miko in that time of her life. And like that first impression on her of Chika was what kind of stuck with her, perhaps.
Mm.
Maybe.
Yeah, it was a good try. It was a good effort.
Thank you.
Yeah, I give it an 8 out of 10. You know?
Oh, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. um, yeah, I think that's just one of the character relationships that was underdeveloped, in my opinion.
Gotcha.
Maybe only to the fault of Chika for just being Chika, and really just a lot of times Akasaka's comedic relief. But I don't know. I don't care what you think the characters are telling you, man. You could have made it happen. Like there could have been some sort of chapter where, just like with Miko and Miyuki, that there was some sort of bonding moment between the two. It could still been silly, as
True.
most Chika chapters or all Chika chapters are. But it would have been nice to see them interact with each other besides just Chika being mischievous and coaxing her to do something.
Yeah.
I mean, she has done like good stuff and taught as we see in the summary for Miko. She taught Miko about humanity and whatever that means as well. But but she was teasing, but also kind of helping her let loose a little bit. So that's good, of course. But I don't know. I just wanted a little bit more, but that's okay.
Right. Yeah, no, but I definitely can understand that. And I would have definitely not said no to some more.
Right.
Then, next, let us talk about Nagisa Kashiwagi. Turns out she had no clue about Maki's feelings for Tsubasa until this volume.
Finally learns the truth.
Yes, here she did learn the truth. The long living truth. And her way to try to fix the problem was to break up with Tsubasa so that Maki could have him, or at least so that Maki wouldn't feel pain whenever she's around them. And yeah, I guess, well, because Nagisa values her friendship with Maki more than her friendship or than her relationship with Tsubasa, was kind of her way to justify that.
Which is kind of bonkers, but also sweet.
Right.
Yeah. It's a very complicated choice to make.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, extremely complicated. But she made that choice, and like I think it's very respectable. albeit maybe not a great solution necessarily, but still, like she meant well, and there was a nice thought to it.
Yeah, she absolutely meant well, but it
Mhm.
was to me, it was an uneducated and unwise choice.
Yes, absolutely.
Immature choice.
And we learned that also through her, I believe it was through her bio page, that she recently started treating Tsubasa a lot better, and
Yeah.
and like that she's not taking him for granted anymore. Like since she's come to appreciate and value his genuine kindness, and just kind of
Yeah.
appreciating how good that is and how rare it might be, and things like that. And so with that in mind, like I'm very very happy that they actually got back together again,
Right.
and stuff like that.
Honestly, it felt like their relationship was not in a great place. The last time we were looking in on the two couple,
Right.
am I right or
Yeah,
wrong
yeah.
about that?
No, it definitely felt that way
Yeah.
to me as well. Um, but it was nice to get this little tidbit as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, just see the whole 2-part chapter and everything.
Yeah, no, it's good to get that. I'm glad that they're in a much better relationship place. Nagisa has grown almost as much as any other character, it seems, behind the scenes, in that, she's not as hard on her boyfriend. She's trying to look more within about herself, self-reflection. I really admired that. It was
Yeah.
kind of amazing to read all that in the summary. It's like, dang, Nagisa really changed.
Yeah.
Is really changing, because there was moments where I was kind of scared of Nagisa. Towards the middle of the story, there was like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
who is this woman?
Yes. Yeah, no, that was really really great that she's working on herself and yeah.
But I guess most importantly, I'm glad they're staying together for the baby's sake.
The baby. Yes.
She's gonna be a teen mom.
She is. Chika is gonna be so proud. In August, Nagisa was 3 months pregnant. So yeah, the Tanma curse is alive and well, and I guess the baby is coming in February then, and that means she would have given birth before they graduated.
Oh boy.
So she was already a mom when they graduated. We just didn't see her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, I mean, actually, I don't know what the Tanuma family is like, but I'm expecting that they have a strong family despite the early parenthood.
Yeah.
So here's hoping that the Nagisa Tsubasa family lives on, or that they stay together. Let's hope.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I'm actually going to quote a part of our conversation from the previous Kaguya-sama discussion, if that's okay.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
It's just
Who
like
you quoting?
a very brief back and forth between us, where
am I gonna have egg on my face by the end of this?
I hope not. No. So you said, "I'll crown you the Kaguya-sama Love is War king if that turns out to be true." Then I said, "You mean if they would end up breaking up and Maki wouldn't end up with Tsubasa?" And then you said, "Yes, if that exact prediction comes out, I will call you the Love King. I would have to say it at least once a podcast for an entire year if that prediction comes true." Now, technically, what was spoken about the prediction did come true. They broke up, and Maki did not end up with Tsubasa. But they ended up back together again, so I'm not going to force you to call me Love King. I just thought it was funny that it technically came true.
Right. I will give you the W on that point. I won't. Obviously, it didn't go to the extent as we were saying.
No.
But, yeah. I totally forgot about that, by the way.
But hey, if you want to call me Love King, by all means.
You know what? I think it deserves a one-time.
Ooh.
A one-time Petter's the Love King.
Oh!
All right. There you go.
Yay.
There you go.
That felt good.
But no, I mean, the breakup happened. But of course, Maki knew something was up and confronted Nagisa by that. Are we moving on to Maki? Sorry, I forget.
We can move on to Maki right now if you'd like.
Yeah. I think because a lot of what I'm going to say is about both of them. So
right. I mean, let's talk about Maki here.
Okay. I think this is another sign of her growth throughout the story is that despite all her pains and unrequited love, she still values her friendship with Nagisa. And honestly, I guess you could even say that this would have been the case no matter what, just because Maki is such a great friend that has strong values, strong sense of will and whatnot.
Yes. And even before the temporary breakup, Maki declared that she was devoted to finally get over her feelings for Tsubasa for good. And since she was starting to feel like her friendship with Nagisa might be at stake if things continued on the path that they were, and she was afraid of that. She didn't want to risk that. So going forward, considering what she said before the breakup happened, and considering that the whole drama came out of the breakup and everything, at this point I absolutely think that she's going to make a lot of effort to get over that crush, and she's going to succeed.
Yeah.
I no longer think that she's forever destined to be obsessed with Tsubasa. I know I said something like that last time.
Yeah, and even the story or the narrator hints that she potentially finds her happily ever after right then and there. In her chapter. But that's not the first time this volume, or the only time the volume says, but that's for another time. That's a story for another time, or that story will be told later on.
Yeah. Right. Because the bio also says that she will go on to the same university that Miyuki is at.
Yeah.
Right after finishing high school. So I was thinking maybe she finds a guy in America.
Maybe, but don't you think that the end of the chapter implies that she finds someone at the school?
Maybe not necessarily. Although I don't know for sure. I didn't get that necessarily though, that vibe.
Interesting, because it says, but the story in which Maki finds true love is about to begin.
Yeah, about to begin. I don't know if that's necessarily right now or in a few months or I don't know.
Either way, I personally I would think it's a little too convenient to have the true love, or what does it say, her true love just to pop through the door right then and there. Is what I thought. But I also did think that's what the story was kind of implying. And going to Stanford doesn't necessarily mean that's not the case. She had applied to Stanford before this anyway.
For sure.
But I guess thinking about it, what else could it possibly be? Because to me, it seemed like some guy walked in, or her true love walked in. But I guess it could have been maybe Ishigami just walking in like he normally does.
Excuse me. I somehow, because I'm looking at that page right now, I somehow missed the fact that we're viewing this through someone's eyes who's walking in toward her. I don't know how I didn't catch that before. Yeah, no, actually, I see it the way you do now. The indication definitely seems to be that whoever is walking in there is the guy that she is gonna have a love story with.
Supposedly, that's what it seems to imply.
Definitely is implying that, I think. Yeah.
But like I was saying, though, it seems so convenient to suddenly have your true love walk in after you have a heartbreak. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's got to happen to somebody, right?
Right, and I guess it happens when you least expect it, and this would definitely be one of those times, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh. honestly, of all the stories that are kind of left dangling, I mean, there's so many, but of all the stories that are left dangling, this might be the one I would want to see the most.
Yeah, it's definitely up there for me too, somewhere.
Yeah, it's up there. Yeah. I guess some little itty bitty bits here and there because I was just all over the place with the Maki Nagisa discussion. I'm so sorry.
All good.
A big reason why Nagisa fell in love with Tsubasa was because how Maki basically treated Tsubasa, or how they had that friendly interaction, and so she saw the good side of him.
Mm.
I'm sure the wall smack, or the whatever they call that,
Right.
kabedon, wall slam. I'm sure that helped, but she had already been noticing him because of Maki. And we get a little more information of why Maki was crushing on him this whole time. It's because she spent time in the hospital. I don't think we knew that. I guess it just runs in there in the Shijo Shinomiya family. So heart
Yeah, I wonder.
troubles.
It somehow felt familiar to me, but it definitely could have just been the first time that we learned about it.
Yeah, maybe it was. Maybe Mikado mentioned it at some point. I don't know. But
Perhaps, but yeah.
regardless,
Mm.
That's where she met Tsubasa, and I guess that's kind of how they had a friendship. Or maybe met's not the right word. Tsubasa was there for her when she was in the hospital, and
Yeah.
that's where she grew her crush. And she's had it for a very long time.
Right.
Very long time.
7 whole years. That is a very long time to hold a crush.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really liked how when Nagisa had broken up with Tsubasa, and obviously Maki was seeing through the lies that Nagisa was telling regarding the breakup, and
Yeah.
immediately, like, there was no question, like, it was fishy from the get-go. And she didn't want to take over she didn't want to take over her boyfriend, her ex, I guess, at that time. In fact, she even encouraged Nagisa to get back together with Tsubasa, and like seeing that from Maki, who this whole story has been very much saying the opposite type of things, was really nice. I thought that is, I guess, just how smart, strong, kind, and reasonable Maki is.
Yeah. Do you really think she'd be satisfied with a fake breakup like that?
No, absolutely not.
Satisfied with knowing that Nagisa just broke up with Tsubasa, because she knew about Maki.
No,
I don't think she would have been, and I think
absolutely.
but it's also very smart of her to, realize. Wait a minute, like there's no way they suddenly just call it off out of
Yeah,
the blue.
no, for sure. And honestly, just like Nagisa, I think Maki also values their friendship more than the potential thing she could have had with Tsubasa.
Yeah.
Anything else on Maki or Nagisa?
No.
Alrighty, then. Next up, let's talk about Ai Hayasaka.
Oh boy.
Here we gotta touch just real quick, first of all, on the Bikomachi posters that
Yeah.
she walked right by at the start of her chapter.
Boom! Right in front of your face.
Yeah. For those who don't know, there's posters in the background depicting an idol group from Akasaka's other manga, Oshi no Ko, which takes place in the same world as Kaguya-sama. And there have been some connections here and there, but this is a pretty apparent one. And it was nice to see how in that little part she spotted Ruby Hoshino, and who has a side ponytail, kind of just like I used to have, and that kind of inspired her to put her hair up like that to get her old hairstyle back, sort of. That was very sweet. But the narration says that Ice chapter takes place in the near future. At least it says that at the start of the chapter, but then at the end of the chapter, it indicates that it was all a dream. Sort of, I guess.
I don't know.
I suppose it could be both?
It could be. It could be both.
I love how ambiguous it is. Like, it's very unclear, but it's kind of fun because of that.
There are parts of the stream that I want to be true, that I think are funny if they are true,
and
then parts that I'm not happy about. I'm gonna be honest.
No, that's fair. So I guess we'll go through some of the stuff then that we learn in this dream slash future vision or whatever it is. According to this, I has spent some time traveling the world, or at least the Americas. Probably more,
Yeah,
probably other places of the world as well, though I could imagine, just because she's very
I'm sure.
rich.
Maybe that was just one of her trips was along the west coast of the Western Hemisphere
Yeah.
of the Americas.
Uh-huh. So she's been up to that. Miyuki has a company. Supposedly his father's company revived. Although it's not mentioned outright, but I assume that would be what it is.
Yeah.
Yu aims to work at Miyuki's company after he finishes college.
Yeah.
Kaguya makes a living as a professional photographer, taking photos of people. That sounds very nice.
Yeah.
Seems in line for her.
Mm-hmm.
Nagisa and Tsubasa are married, and their son is named after Maki. Well, that's very sweet.
Yeah. Very bold. Very sweet.
Yeah. But I love that. Miko apparently throws wild parties and drinks a lot. And and she often calls you when she's drunk too. Is that one of the things that you were displeased about?
One of things, but there's one I'm even more upset about.
Okay.
About them though.
I'm torn on that Miko thing. Like in a way I think it's kind of fun as like another phase of hers kind of. I'm sure it wouldn't be like a long lasting thing, but like a phase for a year or so, maybe something like that. I don't really mind it, but I could have imagined more fun things for her, I guess. But anyway, Chika is involving herself in politics by campaigning for her parents.
Yeah, makes sense. I like it.
Yeah, I loved how Miyuki appeared very suddenly, kind of out of nowhere in that chapter. It kind of seems like that's a trait that he's got from his dad.
Good point.
It was very much like a Daddy Shirogane entrance, I thought.
Didn't think about that. That's a good point.
And apparently Ai has been crashing at Chika's place frequently whenever she's in Japan. And that's amazing fuel right there for the Chika and Ai shippers.
Let us not forget the summary mentions that she was doing that with Kaguya, but Kaguya was like, no, you lazy person, get out of here.
Yeah,
I can't deal with this.
Right.
And so then she just ended up mooching off of Chika.
Yeah.
But you're right, that certainly can be shipping fuel, but she is a stray puppy who is just mooching off people.
Yeah, and I love that for her. Like she deserves it, honestly. She's
Living
been
her
working
best
so
life.
hard for so long. Like, yeah. And I kind of like how the chapter just ends as we see Ai just resting peacefully without having any obligations to get up early in the morning for anything. She's really where she belongs, I guess, right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, and on the bio page that we were touching on a little bit before, it's written as if though the dream of the future is real. Like the bio page matches the dream. So either the bio is just tied to the dream, like a continuation of that narrative or whatever, or the dream really did become reality completely, and thus the bio would also be canon.
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
Yeah. There's nothing in the bio or the summary that I feel contradicts anything. I feel like it makes sense. Like that would be the future.
Yeah.
Especially for her character. I still don't know if I want this dream to be a reality, mainly because of where it puts Ishigami and Miko. You and Miko.
Yeah.
Kaguya and Miyuki. Well, Miyuki for sure has graduated. Kaguya supposedly, I'm just assuming, has graduated. They are married. They're years have passed. I have no. It's not implied how old Maki, the child Maki is, but they're not just freshmen in college. Miko and Yu is getting ready to graduate, and knowing Yu, he may have put it off a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
And so it's clear years have passed, and yet Miko and Yu really haven't gotten into a serious relationship. It feels like, you know. I know it's hard to say definitively, but there's no indication that they're dating.
No.
They know each other, like, you know, they're still friends, clearly, but Ishigami kind of treats her as a good pal and not a actual romantic interest. You know, at least I feel. I mean, yes, your significant other can be your good pal. Yes, I get that.
Right.
Or should be, really.
Uh-huh.
But I just the way it was written to me seems they you know, they weren't necessarily romantically involved.
Yeah. Precisely. I wonder, like, the only, like, if I'm trying to pull at straws, like, with trying to find a sign that maybe points toward it, and it's not a strong case here that I'm making, but near the end of that chapter, like the third to last page, at the bottom of it, there's a panel of the whole, everyone at the table, Ai is hugging Chika, and Yu is glancing at Miko with kind of like a dust cloud over his head. I don't know if that's like because Miko is talking to Miyuki there, and is that Yu jealous of? I don't know. I don't
frustrated
know.
Frustrated that she just keeps on drinking.
It may just be that.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. It is kind of implied throughout the story that she'd be susceptible to some pretty wild stuff in college. You know, scarily, you know, older guys would prey on her, or people would prey on her.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe she would end up being one of these party people. So it's kind of funny that did kind of happen anyway. But I guess since she has a good friend group, it's fine. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's not terrible that she's, you know, this party animal person.
No.
I guess honestly it just comes down to more about these two relationship more than anything for me.
Understandable.
But yeah. So that's really why I kind of don't want this to be true. Other than that, and what I said about party Miko the party animal, I'm pretty okay with everything. I think the traveling fits Ai very well, and she deserves to finally have a her youth back.
Oh yes.
Longer than anybody else, it seems.
Right.
I can respect Ishigami wanting to work for Miyuki. That's great. Why not work for a guy who you think is an amazing person and a real leader? Why not?
Oh yeah.
Maybe a bit surprising that he has his own company now. Is it surprising? Maybe. Well, it's Miyuki, of course. Why would it be surprising? But how many years have passed? I don't know.
Right, it's very unclear.
And Chika working with her parents is fine. It makes sense to me. Fine by me.
Yeah.
I don't see why she's not prime minister yet. That seems to be a miss by Hayasaka.
Big miss.
But yeah, I mean, no, I'm good with the dream, and I guess if you're a Ai Chika shipper, I guess you're happy with the dream. Although I don't know.
Yeah, I think I've don't get me wrong, I'm still a Miko Yu shipper, but I've also kind of gotten, like, having read this volume now a few times, I feel more okay with the idea of them not ending up together.
Whoa, really?
Sort of, because a lot of this story and the ending especially was very, or has been very, well, it's been over the top a lot of the time, but it's also been pretty good at being realistic in certain ways and how it's dealt with
right
characters and like depiction of characters in certain ways.
Yeah.
And to find the love of your life in high school, I don't think that's all that common,
No.
to be fair. And like to stick around with the person you like in high school, like, you know, that doesn't usually happen. You can still be great friends, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I'm kind of cool still with the idea of them just not ending up together. If they do end up together, though, if there's ever any type of continuation in any way, shape, or form, that's awesome. That'll be great.
Yeah.
I definitely wouldn't say no to that ship actually happening, but I'm surprisingly fine with it also not happening.
Hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah, I know I've made like kind of a big stink about it, but you're right. I
Fine.
mean, realistically speaking, it's not likely that someone who you have a crush on in high school is going to be the person that you end up spending your entire life with.
Mm.
And stories tend to romanticize the high school crush turning into true relationships and future marriage.
Right.
But you know, it's it just doesn't really pan out that way. And you know, a lot of times when you're in high school, what you value in a person is maybe much different than what you'll value in a person when you're in your late 20s
Oh,
or
absolutely. Yeah,
or
I
even
think
mid 20s.
pretty much every person that exists changes as a person incredibly from the ages of like from your early teens to your late 20s. Like it's a huge time of change for pretty much every person.
Yeah. So I can certainly respect that. I think another reason why in a flash forward like this, Akasaka wouldn't confirm their relationship in any
Right.
way is because you just left it wide open in a previous chapter or in a future chapter. I guess in a future chapter, wasn't it?
Mm.
I forget with the placement, but you know, you're kind of leaving things wide open for your characters instead of concretely saying, okay, it's going to be like this. This is the path they will for sure take. Obviously, we know what Miyuki and Kaguya are going to do. This is their story, but
Mm-hmm.
Miyuki's and Miko's story from this point on has yet to be told. So I think
Precisely.
as we
Mm.
talk it over, I think it truly does make sense to not necessarily commit them
Right.
to that relationship as
Mm.
much as I, of course, would love to see it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Another thought that came to mind for me just now is the idea that, well, the the concept of true love, which has been kind of a recurring thing throughout the series.
Hey, he used true love multiple times in this volume, by the way.
Exactly. Yeah, which is awesome. Uh, but the idea of true love being something very rare in the world, and that what Kaguya and Miyuki have is true love, but not everyone get to experience that. Not everyone gets that same luxury, I guess, that Kaguya and Miyuki have. Maybe we're meant to see Miko and you as a case of the, well, most other people that don't actually get the true love. I don't know. Maybe that's cynical. I don't know.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past Akasaka to be cynical.
No.
Although I feel like at the end of this, the way he ended it is very optimistic.
That is fair. Yeah, it's very open.
In general.
Mm.
Yeah.
True.
Whereas it felt like in previous volumes he was being very cynical in a lot of his philosophical deep dives. It felt like.
Right. But yeah, and also as you mentioned though, like he neither confirms nor denies their relationship here. So
Yeah.
really, either option is still possible.
Right. And you know, who knows? Maybe they're taking a break, or maybe or maybe they've just haven't gotten to that point yet. And it would be pretty wild if they still shared feelings for each other all the way until their final year of graduating or what have you. But
Yeah.
it could be that they're putting it off because of college. Some people do that, of course.
I suppose
But
so.
anyway,
Yeah.
my rebuttal to your true love statement
Mm-hmm.
is that I argue true love is not necessarily that you find the perfect person. It's more so that the person that you end up committing your life to becomes that true love. I think that it's not necessarily something that we find, but we work towards.
Right. I
Um,
think absolutely.
and
Mm.
so I think that in Kaguya Miyuki's case, and in potentially, if it were to come to pass, a you and Miko case, you know, you commit to a relationship, and then over time, as you stay more committed to each other, that blossoms in true love. Now that true love can eventually grow sour, as it seemed to have with the Shirogane couple, uh, dad and mom. But
Right.
um, oh gosh, we haven't even talked about Kei and the mom yet. Oh
No,
my
no,
gosh.
that's coming.
Okay. Well, anyway, that I'll end it there. True love.
Mm.
It's real. Gosh dang it.
It is real. It is real. I just don't know if it's real between or for Miko and you. You know.
Right. I'm actually more shouting that, or more. I am shouting that out at Akasaka when he made, or not made, when Oda Deda said it. Not Oda Deda. Kashiwagi said it all those
Right.
chapters ago. It's bothered me ever since. But now
Right.
I feel I've justified.
Yay. That's great. Very well. Anything else on the I chapter?
No, I mean, I think this is the best ending
Mm.
for I that there can be without going into romance at all. You know,
Right.
I'm not. I wouldn't be ready for the Miyuki harem. No, I'm not.
No.
I'm not ready for that.
Imagine if that was the future that you saw.
Oh gosh.
It turns out like that one illustration that Agasaki did for like volume 1 or 2 or whatever it was, with Miyuki's harem image, like it turns out that was actually the future. That was canon all this time.
Yeah.
No. No. Anyway.
That's hilarious.
Luckily, that was not her dream. Well,
Whew.
next up, let us talk about Kobachi Osaragi. She delivered Miko's endorsement speech for the Student Council presidential election again, though she was insecure about it ahead of time this time, thinking that her doing it would hurt Miko's chances in the election. She also noted that she's been feeling awkward around Miko since they had their fight.
Mm-hmm.
But something that I really liked was seeing Kobashi announce onto the whole school that Miko has matured. Just that, like,
Oh yeah.
well, to kick it off anyway, like seeing her say those words, I thought was really powerful because that's one of her observations that she wanted to share with everyone, and I think that's extremely touching. And I view it as a big sign that Miko's and Kobachi's friendship is improving. And
Oh yeah.
her whole entire speech was very good as a whole. Got me very emotional.
Have you learned to forgive her?
I have. I absolutely have.
I'm happy because I really love Kobachi, and
Yeah. She's good.
yeah, she's complicated, but I like the drama that she brought with Miko and you in a way, and I thought that they, while it was very hard to read, they Miko and her came together and grew together in so many ways. And I love this moment where Kobachi just lays it all out
Yeah.
and expresses to the whole student body how much Miko has changed.
Yeah. It holds so much weight coming from her.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah. And it was just as satisfying to see the results posted, Kobachi just,
Yeah.
bawling from tears of joy.
Mm.
She truly loves and cares for Miko.
Yeah.
And I don't, you never know what would happen after high school. People go their separate ways. It's easier to stay in contact with the social media nowadays, though. But yeah, maybe get on a game of gosh, what's that? What's that game?
Winecraft?
Minecraft, or a game that Akasaka likes to play. Shoot, was it
Apex?
Apex. I
Yeah.
couldn't think of the syllable in between the A and the X.
Ah, yes, yes.
Apex. But I don't know if Kobachi's much of a gamer, but that.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, that I like how I like how this ends their relationship, or not ends their story, but
Right.
also further encourages their friendship for the future.
Absolutely. It was tied up so beautifully. Like the way, yeah, Miko's and Kobachi's storyline. Perfect.
Yeah.
Chef's kiss.
Yes.
On Kobachi's bio page, it said that she used to be a child actress. Did we know that? I know we knew that her parents were celebrities. Did we know that she had also been a child actor?
Yeah. She had appeared on television at the very least, like
That's right. That's right. You're right. You're right.
for a show or something like that. Yeah.
You're right. That's true. Yeah. No, to me, since that had slipped my mind, it got me thinking about trying to draw more connections to Oshinoko, which obviously is a lot about child actors as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have anything concrete here, but just I wonder if that could ever be relevant at some point, maybe in the Oshinoko manga. Not sure.
I would love for there to be more correlation, and not just references,
Right.
but juicy.
Like actual substantial connections, yeah.
Right. I guess we go in too much talk about Oshinoko in this discussion. But basically, I feel like we could get some really great character development in this other story from some of these characters.
Right. My final thing on Kobachi is that she is obviously mostly an observer on the sidelines. That's always kind of been mostly her role in the series. So I thought because of that, it was especially interesting to read her bio page in this book, as it gave us some information that we really couldn't have really gotten from her otherwise. Like it couldn't have really been presented
I did
in
like
any
it.
other way. At least I don't see it. And I think one of my favorite little parts from there that we learned was how she thinks of Miko and Yu as like of her and Miko and Yu, like that trio, as the League of the Shunned, and how she wants to grow together with them and whatnot. I thought that was very sweet.
There's something very dorky about that, but
Oh,
I love
totally.
it. I love little dorky things about people.
Yeah.
There could be over the top things like the Chunibyo stuff. That could be too much, but just little dorky moments from people I find can be very charming.
Yes, it's great. Well, next let us talk about Kei Shirogane. Thanks to her, we finally got a chapter with her and Miyuki's mom.
Yeah. Wow.
And we learned that Kei ran away from her mother to live with her dad and her brother instead, and supposedly she did this because of some guy that her mom was dating at the time. The bio page kind of reaffirmed that it wasn't necessarily a bad guy, but just kind of, well, at that time of Kei's life, it was kind of unusual and stressful and different and hard, kind of understandably so.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I don't know. Part of me also kind of gets the vibe that that wasn't the only thing. Like she may have also felt like she was maybe treated better by her dad and her brother compared to her mom potentially. Although that's not explicitly stated.
I think it was awkward being a girl at her age and having a strange man in the house. I think that's you can't. It's kind of hard to be comfortable that way.
Of course.
Reverse the roles, and that could be some people's fantasy. But that's not here nor there.
No.
But what I'm trying to say is that I don't think that's the only reason. In that, I think the guilt she felt for how her mother loved her, or at least how she felt that her mother loved her, but not Miyuki or her dad, and she felt bad that they weren't getting the same motherly love, particularly Miyuki. I think in the end, that's a pretty big reason why she left, I think.
Right. Yeah. And I love how when her mother offers Kei to come to live with her in this chapter, I love how she stands up for Miyuki and explains just how much he's been hurting because of their mom.
Mm-hmm.
And what I thought elevated that moment as well was the fact that this chapter reminded us again of how Kei is in this rebellious teenager phase, and how she, because of that, how she acts around Miyuki and how she talks to him. But despite of that quote unquote act, it's still very, very clear that she loves him and cares for him deeply as his sister. And so, when he isn't around to hear her, she is more than willing to speak up for him and to defend him, as she did. And I really, really love that.
Yeah, I love it. It's a believable sibling relationship.
It really is.
I mean, I would like Kei to be nicer to her older brother, but
Yeah,
I think it's relatable in a lot of ways.
absolutely. And she will only be in that phase for a little while longer, potentially. Sometime.
And then she'll look back and cringe on it. Or maybe she won't. It depends on the person.
It does.
If it were me, I'd be cringing.
I have a feeling she may cringe. But she also tried to make her mom understand that financial success and academic achievements aren't as important as what she and Miyuki, and especially Miyuki, missed out on because of their mom being absent. I thought that was also a good lesson.
Yeah, absolutely.
But despite of all this, it seems like Kei is still willing to give her mom a chance, which I think is very sweet of her, but there may be a couple years until she does give her this chance.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's sweet, and I think it's strong of Kei to be willing to give her mom that second chance, even though it's not immediate.
Yeah. While she admits not being mature enough to understand her, it's in turn mature to say that and to give her mom another chance later on when she's more grown up.
Absolutely.
Kei herself is more grown up.
Yeah, that's great. This is probably the best Kei chapter we've ever had, I think.
It's a pretty good one. Mm-hmm.
I really liked it. Furthermore, Kei has become a TikToker.
Yeah.
And it appears to be going pretty well for her.
So, to her surprise.
Right.
I guess that's part of the charm of it. all the way back when she sat in on some of her dad's streams.
Right. Oh, that's right.
There was also a tease of why Kei respects Kaguya so much. It was a story of Miyuki and Kaguya back in their first year of high school.
Exactly.
But just like so many of these other storylines, it's that story will be told later.
Right.
Will it though? I don't believe you.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm so unsure
Akasaka,
about all that.
Are you cooking something else for this? Or are you just it'll be told some other time in another dimension or something? Like what? Oh, you cheeky little mangaka.
Yeah.
It's not so much that I needed to see why Kei respects Kaguya, although that's very similar to my whole Miko Chika thing.
Right.
But I have wanted to see more of the first year Miyuki and Kaguya interact. I know it wasn't a whole lot, but I feel like there could have been more to that whole flashback moment. I mean, that's for example, that student council guy.
Exactly.
He never really became a thing.
Precisely, even though there was a promise that he would return.
One of the biggest lies. I mean, he did appear at one point, right? Like in a flashback or something, didn't he?
Oh, no? Yeah, he may have, but it was not about him or anything.
It's so insignificant.
Yeah, right.
that was one of the biggest lies. But again, it's whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, great Kei chapter, and you're right. That's maybe one of the best ones, or the best one for her.
But that's all on her?
Yeah. I'm ready to move on to Mama.
Yes, let us talk about Miyuki Kei's Mama. She is both a realist and a narcissist.
Not a great com, but well, it depends on what you want in life.
I mean, yeah. The narrator claims that Daddy Shirogane's company prospered because of her, and that it could have been saved if he had taken her advice of laying off workers.
Yeah.
There's no doubt that she's clever, but her understanding of love is, I guess, quite warped, I think.
Yeah, certainly not one that I agree with.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems that her perception on love trickled down to her children, which makes sense. And that kind of influenced particularly Miyuki, what he became, unfortunately.
Right. Yeah, she said that raising two children would have compromised her work performance, which is not surprising considering what we know about her, well, or what we knew about her before saying that sentence. But
Yeah.
then, why did she have two kids to begin with? If that's the way she sees life and everything, like I don't know, shit like that really rubs me the wrong way. Ah. Like if you're gonna have kids, you gotta be there for them. I mean, you gotta sacrifice some stuff in your life to make time for your children. As long as they need you, like
Right.
that's what it means to be a parent. Like I don't know.
Absolutely. No matter what comes.
Yeah.
In her defense, her supposedly life plan was obviously not just to divorce Shirogane and be in this situation. I think she wanted or expected Shirogane to continue with the business, you know, following her advice, but her main role would be to raise the children. And two children was something that she felt like she could handle without having to work full time as well. To me, I get the vibe that she was a stay-at-home mom that would just give her husband very good advice. Well, I guess good is subjective, but obviously she helped it become successful.
Right.
But when the company failed and she decided, okay, this is not going anywhere. I got to do this on my own. She made the decision that I can only take care of one kid and be a successful businesswoman or whatever line of work she does.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But I agree with you that you shouldn't adjust your children to match your work plans. You should adjust your work plans to match your children,
Yes.
or adjust your life plans, or whatever. You know, like
Uh-huh.
you can't just ditch one of your kids.
No, man. Oh.
But to her, she's very much convinced that it was a sign of love, and that she deeply loves both Miyuki and Kei. She did say her kid's happiness, or at least Kei's happiness, is her happiness, which not a great aspect, but still trying to think of her children's happiness. I don't know. You know,
Yeah.
she's a interesting individual with a different perspective on life than myself.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if she could ever change. I mean, maybe it's wrong for me to suggest that she should change just because she thinks differently than I do. But I don't know. If she really wants her kids to feel loved, totally. I think there has to be a little bit of self-reflection and
Mm-hmm.
maybe, oh wait, I did do something wrong here.
Exactly. No, we don't have. I don't feel like we have enough content about her or of her to really know how good the chances are of her making such a change.
Uh-huh.
Of course, I hope she could, but it's hard to say. Spontaneously, like my gut is telling me no, she probably can't. But
Yeah.
we've only gotten one chapter with her, so I don't claim to really know.
Right. And she's still trying to get Kei back with her to come to Shanghai of all places.
Right.
To me, it does seem that it's not clicking for her just as much as it's not clicking for Kei in understanding her mother's love.
Mm.
You know.
Mm.
So I don't know. I mean, maybe she'll just go cry on Instagram stories more.
I wouldn't be surprised. Well, is that all on the mommy?
Yeah.
Then let's talk about Daddy Shirogane a little bit. I only have a small amount, but he misses Miyuki, and he misses Miyuki's cooking as well. Well, I think it makes a lot of sense that he's, missing his kid who's been living with him his whole life, or well, Miyuki's whole life. I think a lot of parents go through something similar to that when their kids move out.
Yeah.
And maybe especially like if you have multiple kids, maybe it. No, I'm not a parent, so I don't know exactly. But maybe it's especially hard when the first kid moves out, because that's the first time that a parent experiences a child moving away from them. Because you've never had the experience before. I bet that can be kind of tough.
Yeah. And also, Miyuki's not a rebellious teen, so that's probably somewhat better company.
True.
Less aggressive company.
That is true. Man, Daddy Shirogane is such a sweet man. But yeah, Miyuki does come to visit, I am sure.
Oh yeah. It's his father's old company, like, surely.
Oh yes.
They're talking about it. I don't know if they're partners, but at the very least they...
True. Oh yeah, now I am curious to know, I guess, to what extent, if at all, Daddy Shirogane is involved with the company now.
Yeah, I mean, if I was him, I wouldn't lay it off the YouTube or the streamer cold, man. Just
no.
Keep going into that.
Yeah, no,
especially if you're enjoying it.
Precisely, which he definitely seems to do. So yeah, he's definitely not ditching that, but I wonder if he could have like a small role on the company on the side, perhaps, or something. Potentially.
Definitely possible.
But anyway, do you have any other characters that you want to discuss?
No. That's everybody.
Alrighty. Then let's talk about the comedy. Maki and Yu ganging up on Miyuki for trying to help them when they were having a hard time getting over their crushes, I thought was pretty funny. Poor Miyuki was just trying to help out from the other side of the Pacific Ocean, but yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it's the unsolicited advice that can be the most condescending.
Yeah.
I know he meant well, but it's like,
right, yeah.
Oh, it's easy for you to say.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean I understand their
sure.
them being kind of infuriated by that.
Used to be the star of the bonus page. Good old Maki.
Yeah. That's how she made her debut.
That callback was funny, yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I mean, I forget sometimes that's how she made her debut. She wasn't a recurring character. She was just this girl crying in the background this whole time.
This nameless girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, how far we've come.
Absolutely. For some reason, the reveal of Kozue Makihara and Chika Fujiwara being Miko's and Kobachi's competition in the election just cracked me up. Like, completely. Like, when we saw them standing there. Like, and Kobachi was continually, like, said, like, it's this heavy hitter or whatever word she used.
Yeah.
To describe Chika. Or, like, powerhouse. I can't remember. Anyway.
She's like, let me repeat. The Fujiwara is speaking for.
Yeah, and then having Miko thinking that Chika was testing her, and Chika just playing along with that. Oh my gosh.
That's right!
And then Kozue got only 8 votes in the election in the end.
I think the Santa outfit is what got me.
Right.
We won't bore you with the details. We won't bore you with their speech. What?
I would have loved to see that.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
I guess speaking of the Fujiwara family, Moyaha had her final appearance.
Yes.
In this, at the very beginning of the volume, she's with Kei, and there's a moment where she's just staring. Is it lovingly? Yes, but also menacingly. It's. I don't trust that. It scares me. Now, I was curious if that was supposed to be love towards Kei, or love towards Miyuki, who was on the phone. or both. It's probably
Oh yeah,
all
I guess
that
it could have
wrapped
been.
into one.
You're right. It could have been both. I assumed it was for Miyuki who was on the phone, but you're right. It could have been either or both. um,
The way she's planning something sinister in that brain of hers.
absolutely, she is.
Oh, she scares me.
uh, Chika assumed that everyone views her as a pure, innocent, naive girl. And Kaguya's reaction to that was gold. Like, nobody thinks of you that way, Chika.
I've never viewed you that way.
Yeah, right.
So perfect.
uh, I also love how Chika was aware of the fact that Kaguya didn't want to give Chika away to some guy.
Yeah.
And like just the smirk kind of that she was giving that whole time.
Love it.
Yeah, very amusing to see Chika toy with Kaguya. Always is.
It was very good. Very good. The bribing with Coke continues.
Oh yes, it
with
did.
Cola.
Right.
I'll give you a cola if you do this.
Koze must have gotten that idea from Chika.
She learned from the best. And then for me, lastly, it's she hit him with the final how cute pose. We know we talked about it, but
right.
Comedically speaking, it was a funny way to, funny, sweet, all sorts of feelings, emotions there.
Yeah, absolutely. So happy to get that in the final chapter.
Yeah.
Well, we are reaching sort of the end of our final Kaguya-sama discussion.
Whew.
Now, yeah, we have been addressing some of the kind of loose threads a little bit throughout the discussion here.
Mm-hmm.
There was the thing about why Kei is looking up to Kaguya that you mentioned. The thing about Maki finding her true love.
Mm-hmm.
The previous student council president who said he would return in the summer or something like that. And the single panel of I believe it was Miyuki jumping into the pond by the school to get Kaguya's cloth. There's something like that as well. I was thinking if that may be related to Kei's reason for liking Kaguya, but that's just a guess, not based on much.
I don't know why you just don't say it then, like, because we already know about that moment. Why not just say it?
No, we don't know about that moment.
Oh, we don't know about them. But I mean, like we've heard about it.
We've only seen a panel. There wasn't. I don't think we ever really got much of a story to it, did we?
Yeah, other than Miyuki jumped in to the water to, or was it Miyuki or Kaguya? Kaguya jumped in.
Well, no. There was an actual chapter where Kaguya jumped in to save a girl.
That's right.
But then at one point after that, there was just a panel without much context of Miyuki in the water. It looked like the same place, but there wasn't much context to it. And like that's another one of those loose threads that I don't know.
Gotcha.
And then there were a whole bunch of characters, if I remember correctly, that were introduced by name when the new school year started, along the same time when Gomonosuke was introduced, and like Gomonosuke's owner seemed to be a big deal. Like we saw that guy's feet, I think.
Yeah, Abe or whatever that was.
Right, something like that. Yeah. And that seemed to be a big deal, but it was nothing.
Yeah.
And my last thing, like kind of loose thread that I can mention at least off the top of my head here, was that at the end of the final Chika teaches Miyuki something chapter, the narrator teased several other things that Chika would have to teach Miyuki further down the line, but none of those lessons ever came. And I guess along those lines is the whole cockroach returning with its friends from the forest to thank Chika. Like that never was resolved either, to my big disappointment. But anyway, I'm sure there's probably other unresolved parts that I'm not mentioning here.
Yeah.
But so there's quite a lot. But as I was also saying, like kind of in terms of Miko and Yu's relationship not being resolved, I'm kind of at a point now where I'm fine with these things being unresolved. Like at the core, the main part of the story was resolved, and
yeah,
and it's this whole kind of life is life, and not everything is predictable or resolvable, or um, I guess I'm justifying it that way, and for me, it really works.
Yeah, it doesn't ruin the story for me. It doesn't. It certainly doesn't make it better that he left all these open endings for me, though.
No, I also wouldn't say it makes it better, but I can live with it.
Yeah, it feels like that he had a few of these open endings or these loose threads, and then with this final volume, he's just like, oh, whatever. Like, I'll just put a bunch of it. It'll be a stylistic choice now.
Yeah.
Nice save. But for some of them, I think it's poetic that while story is over here, their actual story continues.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of their life continues.
Right.
And I do like that.
Yeah.
But not every plot thread is that, right? Like, we mentioned the owner of the cat. Other loose threads.
Yeah.
But Chika, with her mentoring Miyuki, and they mention all the other potential future ones. You could argue that's a similar case to, Maki finding her true love, or Kei's, well,
just her backstory, I guess. Yeah.
I guess her backstory. But anyway, you could somewhat argue that, although I think at the end of the day it was just meant for comedic effect that she's not done, folks. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think out of some of the out of the manga that I usually love, a lot of them don't have all of these open-ended cases or loose ends that aren't resolved.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that the story is so much more than the lore or the loose ends. It's much more about the feeling, messages, and comedy that I can overlook these in the end insignificant loose ends.
Right. Yeah.
As much as I would have liked them and have talked ad nauseum about how much I would have liked to see them.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, last time we talked, like when we talked about the previous volume, I said that I demanded a kiss between Miko and you. Well, that never happened.
Yeah.
But I'm ultimately cool with it.
and now you're totally open to them never getting together.
Actually, yeah.
Having that kiss.
Wow, what a turnaround! I've had a lot of turnarounds in this story. One of the biggest ones has been Kobachi. That's really, honestly, that's something that this story has done that no other story probably has ever done, is to make me that furious.
Yeah, you were livid.
I've never experienced that through fiction before, or since. As I was after volume 23, I believe it was. My goodness.
Yeah.
But it was fun. Especially now in hindsight, it's fun.
Yeah.
But just for fun, I did a little bit of a tally to check how many times each of the Kaguya-sama characters have appeared on the volume covers.
Oh, okay.
To see who has appeared the most times and how many times each one has appeared and whatnot, because I was just curious. And in case anyone does care and is interested, or do you have a guess as to who appeared the most times, James?
My instinct would be Kaguya.
Your instinct would be correct.
Okay. I would feel like Miyuki is not the least, but of the main cast, I feel like Miyuki was only, or was he? Oh, is it Ishigami? Actually, Ishigami is the least.
That would have been my guess too, and I think that's accurate. Like, as for the main character, or somewhat, I'll explain. Miyuki appeared second most.
Yeah.
Kaguya was 11 times. Miyuki was 7 times. And then after that, there's actually a 3-way tie for the third place.
Oh.
Coincidentally, between Chika, Miko, and you, all having appeared 5 times.
Oh, wow, Ishigami, you appeared 5 times. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
same amount as Chika and Miko.
Yeah.
After that, I and Maki both appeared 4 times each.
Maki got 4. Yeah, good on Maki.
Yeah, yeah.
One of them was like in the background, right, where she's crying.
Exactly. I had to count that since it's, after all, it is an appearance on a cover.
Yep.
So yeah. But yeah, that's just something that I wanted to do, so I did it, and that there it
Fun.
was. um, and well, before we started recording this, you and I talked about naming our favorite arc as well as our favorite gag from throughout the manga.
Yes.
Would you like to share yours first?
Yes, I can do that. All right. Well, I feel like we're gonna have the same one for best arc.
All right.
But you never know.
You never know.
So I am gonna say the first kiss never ends. That the cultural festival is pretty amazing, but it's really everything that happens after that, and it was depicted in the recent film, is the peak of the story for me.
Mm.
Kaguya and Miyuki have incredible moments, particularly Kaguya. She just goes through incredible strides as a human being, understanding more about herself, her feelings for Miyuki. And there's some great gags along the way. And I also would like to put, or a shout out to the next arc that follows that, which is really great moments for a lot of the characters, both comedically and character development wise. But of course that's the wiki separates that into a different arc, understandably.
Are you talking about the Christmas party at Tsubami's place?
Yeah, like what happens during the Christmas or winter break.
I see.
Everybody. Yeah.
I see. Okay, so I hadn't looked at like how the fandom is dividing the arcs at all.
Uh-huh.
I just wrote down Christmas arc, and in that I include all of the things that happened at Christmas. So that's both of those things. So
yeah.
maybe I'm cheating.
I mean, well, look, if you put it together, there's no way you can beat it, in my opinion.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
That is the peak for so many of these characters. I mean, obviously there's still growth to happen, but that was just a phenomenal moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, volume 15 and 16 as a combo, top notch.
Yeah, really good. Fantastic.
Yes. So yeah, you were right. We did end up having the same there, basically.
Yeah, we agree on a good amount of things, but sometimes we don't. I'm glad we agreed. We agreed here.
Yes. I'm curious to see what you picked for favorite gag, because that was a hard question to answer, picking just one favorite gag.
Just one favorite gag.
So I'm very curious to see what you picked.
After long consideration, I think the one that got me to laugh the most is the wiener gag from the beginning of the story with Chika and Kaguya.
Nice.
I think maybe it just shows my immaturity, but I love not only how Kaguya just bursts uncontrollably into laughter, but also how Chika gets so excited about that fact.
Yeah.
So I think that may be my favorite one.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great pick. I struggled with this one as well, but I couldn't shake the well, basically one gag kept coming into my mind when I was thinking about my favorite gag. So I guess I just felt like I had to pick that one, and it's that time when Kaguya and Maki watched the porn DVD together.
I totally forgot about that.
And that's like it's like a two-parter, like, so I believe it's like 2 chapters, and it's kind of like the whole thing leading up to it, and then
I can't believe they watched it together.
And like, yeah, and like the fact that they watched porn together, these two relatives, and then the whole thing following it, because like I love how that one is not just a one short little thing. It's kind of a dragged out longer thing with several parts to it that just makes it hilarious and absurd, and I absolutely love it. And I mean, it spawned the whole Amorous Congress word. So
Right.
I'm yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah. Very true.
We also decided to share our top 10 favorite Kaguya-sama characters in this final discussion of the series. And we're probably not going to linger too much on the lists, so I figured we could just go through each of our lists in one go, from 10 to 1. And I'll give mine real quick first. So my number 10 Kaguya-sama character is Nagisa Kashiwagi. Really, I think every character on this list is a really good character. But yeah, Nagisa Kashiwagi, number 10. Number 9, Kobachi Osaragi. She made the cut.
Oh, good.
Which, had I made this list back after having just read volume 23, she certainly would not have. But no, she made it. My number 8, and maybe you'll be disappointed in this, but Chika Fujiwara is my number 8.
I knew it.
She's on the list at least.
Yeah, she's on the list. Yeah.
I love her.
Not enough though.
No, no. But my number 7 is Tsubame Koyasu.
Nice.
She made it. Already I'm like, it's hard. Like they're all high. Like my top 8 are all really really strong. I feel like even honestly, really the whole list is really strong, to be fair. But Tsubame Koyasu has always been special to me because I've been able to relate to some of her struggles that she brings up in volume 16, and I don't know, her character has kind of spoken to me in those types of ways. So yeah, she's pretty special to me in that way. But then number 6, Hayasaka. Back in the beginning kind of this story, she used to be my number 1 favorite character. That was a long time ago, like the first few volumes. But yeah, she's number 6. That's still great. Number 5, I got Maki Shijo. I loved her from the very beginning, not the very beginning, but once she became an actual character, she just definitely appealed to me a lot. Even before then, she was fun, but yeah, no, she became a fantastic character. Number 4, Miyuki Shirogane. Great guy. I don't know what else to say there.
Oh, surprisingly, wow.
No, but he's great. I loved his journey, and all of these characters have, or at least all of the top characters here have great journeys. Like Maki, and Miyuki that I'm on now, and everyone on top of here, they all have great journeys. Like it's something that this story just does so well. Like unique character journeys for each character, and well depicted. And yeah, Miyuki is one of those. My number 3, Yu Ishigami. I got the boys right next to each other here.
Fair enough. I also have the boys next to each other.
That's nice. And yeah, Yu was also a favorite character of mine for a while. But yeah, currently my number 3. And my number 2, Kaguya Shinomiya. I will say, Kaguya may technically be, in my opinion, the best character, like the most well-written character, I guess. But that doesn't make her my number 1 favorite character. That, surprise, goes to Miko Ino in my book. Anyone who's listened to probably any episode of this podcast knows that. So, yeah, that's my top 10 favorite Kaguya-sama characters. Short and sweet.
Well, I am not unfamiliar with the idea of acknowledging something or someone is the best character, but then putting it number 1, your favorite character or your favorite thing.
Right, because this was my top 10 favorite characters. So if it had been like top 10 Kaguya-sama characters, not favorites, then Kaguya may have been my number 1. But yeah,
sometimes I feel like that list is the same list, because they're both subjective anyway.
That's true. Absolutely.
But to be fair, you can look at it differently.
Yeah, at least in this case, I definitely know that I have a clear little thing with Miko and Kaguya, where one is my favorite and the other is the one that I respect the writing of the most, kind of. But yeah.
I subscribe to that theory in a lot of other ways, but maybe not this time. We'll see.
Fair enough. All right.
So number 10 is Tsubame.
Nice, nice. I'm glad to see her on the list.
Yeah, I love what she brings to the story, and also her relationship with Ishigami. I thought they they both were good for each other, and not romantically speaking.
Right. Yeah.
Number 9 is Nagisa Kashiwagi.
Mm,
Uh, I think this volume actually put her back up on this list
sweet.
because over time I had kind of fallen away from her, seeing some maybe not particularly great sides, but uh, this one was chef's kiss, awesome, great,
Absolutely.
and that summary bio that she got really put it all together for me.
Uh huh.
Number 8 is Kobachi. I've always been a fan of her. I was sure I was like a little bit upset with what she did, but I was pretty positive it was gonna work out just fine.
Yeah.
Number 7, Hayasaka.
Mm.
She got a lot of quite a bit of attention at times, more so than even the main cast. It felt like, and that really boosted her up in a lot of ways for me.
Right.
Number 6 is Maki.
Mm.
She shot up above Hayasaka just because of her relationship, not just with Nagisa but Kaguya. That their relationship really blossomed towards the end, and you saw her more than just a girl that suffered from unrequited love.
Oh yeah.
Number 5, Miko. Honestly, one of the best characters. Uh, one of the characters that grew the most,
Yeah.
and I think that she is very cute, very charming, and I appreciate what she brought to the story.
Great.
Number 4 is Chika. The
Ooh.
fanboys got to put Chika on the list somewhere. I do not see Chika as a huge character growth person. I see her as a comedic relief, but she brought me so much joy throughout this series, and had little moments here and there of her sweet friendship with Kaguya and
Mm.
even Miyuki and a bit of Ishigami that she quickly captured my heart. Number 3 is Miyuki.
Mm.
Similar to what you were saying, he's a good boy. Not the best boy.
No, no. Exactly.
Because there's someone else, but he time and time again just impresses and shows that he's an incredible human being who cares about others. And if I could be half the person that Miyuki is, I'd be, an amazing person, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
But the best boy is Ishigami at number 2. Ishigami, what sets him apart is his growth from the depths of despair
Mm-hmm.
mentally to being able to live his best life. And sure, there's still progress that he's making, and he acknowledges, particularly with Tsubame and moving on from her, but that's part of life. You never reach a point where you snap and say I'm done. And I appreciate Ishigami not being that way. It truly was a step-by-step process that led up to some particularly satisfying moments that I think a lot of people will remember for years to come.
Oh yeah.
And number 1, of course, is the person that this story is named after, Kaguya-sama.
Mm.
She truly is the epitome of the story, and the character that experienced the most growth, in my opinion. I think the book says Miko in the previous volume. I still think it's Kaguya. But I think that Kaguya is the reason why Chika may have been the reason why I started watching the anime,
Right.
just because of the funny stuff,
Yeah, yeah.
and not because of the boobs, I promise.
It was because of the dance, right?
Actually, yes. You know what? Yes,
Oh.
it was the dance.
Great.
That's like, where is this dance from? I must watch the show.
Awesome.
Gosh dang it. I'm no better than anybody else. I'm a degenerate. That's the truth. But you come for the dance. Embrace it. You come for the Chika dance. You stay for the comedy. You come to love Kaguya.
Oh, yes. I noticed that we both had the same 10 characters in our top 10. So that's fun.
I was surprised you didn't put Shirogane dead. I thought you would do that. Not
Yeah,
me, I wouldn't, but
I
I thought you
I
would.
considered it.
Uh,
But at the end of the day, he is like nothing more than a comedic character. Like there isn't any like actually serious depth to him, as far as I'm concerned.
mhm. Mhm.
So that was kind of my ultimate reason for to bump him off the top 10. He's probably somewhere close behind though. But yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Just to clarify, I did put Chika at number 4. So, um,
Well,
there is a place for gag
and
characters.
I have Chika on my list as well, just eighth place, but
I'm
still.
glad. I'm glad. So that means that Chika's the best gag character. There you go. Is the best comedic relief. There you go.
Absolutely, I can agree with that.
Now, great list all
Great,
around.
absolutely great lists, and you listeners can absolutely share your list. I would love to see more lists like this in the YouTube comments if you're listening there, or in our Discord server that you can join through the link that should be in the video description or episode description. But yeah, for 5 solid years now, I've been reading and loving this manga, and for the past 3 years and 4 months, I believe, we've been covering it from start to finish, volume by volume on the podcast. It's truly one of the most special stories that I've ever had the pleasure of experiencing. The ending may have a few threads dangling still, and it definitely left me curious about the future of all these characters to various degrees. But as I said, like I don't really mind that too much. I think this manga has always done such a good job at depicting life in such a fantastical yet realistic way, kind of at the same time. And
Mhm.
so this open ending is really rather fitting, I think. And all in all, I have to say that Kaguya-sama Love is War is the best manga that I've ever read from start to finish. Like a manga that has an ending,
Mhm.
this is the best one that I've read. I rate it a 10 out of 10.
Nice.
What about you?
Um, I I really like this ending. I think it bodes well for a rom-com manga.
Yeah.
Um, I think the previous volumes were fantastic and really were kind of the conclusion for me. But this was a great way to tie up some loose threads, as we discussed already.
Yeah.
Uh, you know me, I like to kind of put my toe into the water and hear what people have been saying, not specifically, but just get a vibe check.
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed like a lot of people were kind of down on this
Oh,
ending, and maybe that's a vocal minority, which it totally could be.
I see.
But I disagree with that vocal minority or however that be.
Uh-huh.
I think it was a good solid ending,
Yeah.
not to
Uh-huh.
match the peak of our favorite arc, but a one that was worthy of this story.
For sure.
I don't know if I go as to say it's my favorite manga that I've read cover to cover that has ended. Maybe my favorite rom com. Oh, I do adore Otakoi, but I feel like this one I think I give it to Kaguya-sama just because it has such a long legs, and arguably more depth to it. So yeah, I think I put this as my favorite rom com that I've read,
Lovely.
and because of that, I think I do give it a 10 out of 10. Mm-hmm.
Nice. I guess I'm not surprised. We have been rather vocal about us liking this story throughout the podcast, but yeah,
Yeah,
I'm glad to hear you rating it a 10 out of 10 as well.
yeah.
And listeners, please let us know what you think as well of the ending in particular, but also the story as a whole, the manga as a whole. How would you rate it, and what are your takes? Any hot takes? Anything like that? Maybe our takes aren't super hot, except if
Uh,
if it's a popular opinion that the ending was not great, then maybe we have a hot take in liking the ending here. I don't know.
yeah. I think we might have a hot take. Although, you know, there's still a fandom that enjoys Kaguya-sama for sure.
Absolutely, I'm sure. And actually, from what I haven't heard from a lot of people, I've never looked into the fandom too much, but from what I've heard from some people that I know personally who had read the ending, my impression from them was that they were kind of okay with it. They didn't love it, but they probably didn't hate it either. But like, kind of, it was okay. What was kind of my impression, but no, I actively liked it.
Yep, same.
Great. Well, this is a little bit bittersweet. The first manga that we started covering on Umami Manga has now ended.
I don't know if it's the lack of sleep or the fact that we're ending the first ever Umami manga that we covered.
Yeah.
But I'm getting a little emotional.
Yeah.
You know, just thinking about being in my little closets over the years, and now I'm not in closet anymore. I gave up on that.
That's
but
good.
I do remember, you know, holding on to my volume for each discussion and reading the manga in the dark with the flashlight. Not well. I would read it outside the closet, but we would have a discussion. We would have a discussion.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, I would bring a flashlight and follow along. But we've come a long way. We cover so many more manga.
Right. We really do.
But this one will always have a special place in my heart. And
yeah,
you know, I hope to come back to it. Just, you know, read through it again and maybe experience the same joy that I did then.
Yeah, I definitely. I mean, I know I absolutely will at some point, because I did a reread of the first 16 volumes for the podcast when we covered them.
Just for me.
Just for you. And that was a blast. And yeah, I'm sure reading it again and reading the entire thing again is going to be great. I wonder if we'll like pick up on any like new things or other things, like now knowing the whole story when we go back and read the early stuff.
5 years later, hold up, guys! This will change everything. Right. Chika is actually the main character.
Oh no, there you said it. I said Miko was the secret heroine, and now, of course. Well,
I was just waiting for the right time.
Beautiful. But yeah, as we said, since we started covering Kaguya-sama when we started the Umami Manga podcast, we've also started covering other things volume by volume in the same manner. Oshi no Ko obviously might be interesting in case any listener wants to hear us talking about those, also written by Aka Akasaka. In addition to that, we also cover To Your Eternity, Spy Family, Freedom Beyond Journey's End, Vinland Saga, Kaiju number 8, Jujutsu Kaisen, Asadora, and most recently we started covering A Bride's Story. So there's a bunch of stuff for anyone who's interested in just listening to us talking about more manga volumes. Because we're not talking about this one anymore.
We're done.
Yeah, we are.
Yep.
No, but this I'm terrible at ending these big discussions, like these like long running things. Like we had a Titan Tea Time Attack on Titan podcast a long time ago that we also had to end ultimately eventually, and that was a bit hard. And this feels a little bit similar. I don't want to end the episode because that means we're ending this whole era in a way. I don't know. But Umami Manga is not ending. The podcast is not ending. It's not that big a deal. Oh well. I guess that's that though.
Yeah.
Very well. If you enjoy our content, you can follow us on Twitter at Umami Manga, and it would be lovely if you'd like to support us by rating our show on the podcast platforms and subscribing to our channel Umami Manga on YouTube. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time when we'll talk about something else. Bye bye.
See you later.
Do 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 do.
Sometimes you just get Wii Sports on the brain, you know.
Oh, absolutely, it happens when you least expect it.